Good evening, everybody. My name is Ugochukwu Aronu, and I'm happy to be here. And well, I know a couple of you might be tired a bit, and well, I am in a way. But yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a slide. I hardly use slides, but I'm very happy to be talking to you guys. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Zen Finance, and we have a blockchain that we launched called Asset Chain. So the hackathon that we're organizing is currently ongoing, and I think there are breakout sessions, and then we'll have the founder speech. But I'll be talking more about decentralized finance now, and a couple of people might still be trying to get used to that word or trying to know what decentralized finance is. So there's a shorter, there's an abridged version, for it, or an abbreviation called DeFi, right? So that means decentralized finance. And a lot of us might be familiar with what traditional finance is. Traditional finance is when you do, money exchanges hands, basically, right? Through cash or digital payments. Now, but there is an existing foundation that traditional finance follows that makes it prone to so many problems. I'll give you an example. Banks, like operate in the traditional financial space, right? And the foundation of finance basically is offering services and getting paid for it, depositing money and taking loans. That's how banks make money, right? Or let's say when I do a service and someone gives me money, right? That's the basis of finance. But then there is a challenge with that. And the challenge basically is that at times, when people perform traditional financial transactions, there is a huge loss in those transactions. I'll give you an example. I believe everybody here has a bank account, right? And when you have your bank account, your money in your banks, maybe at the end of the month or at some point you get charges for just leaving the money in the bank and you've not done any transaction, right? Also, when you send money to people, I think now the government started charging this fine, or like it's called, I think, internet something fine, about 0.05%. And I think it's starting this October, right? So the challenge is that the government and a lot of people control this finance. Basically, you don't have control of that control of that money. Another example, if all of us, let's say we have a bank, let's say GT Bank or First Bank, any bank, and we all decide to go to the bank to take our money today, that bank will most likely shut down. It's what you call a bank run, right? Why? Because they don't really have the cash. They don't have the assets. Why? They've invested it in real estate, so many things. And it's not like the investment is coming to you as the person that gave them the deposit, right? It doesn't come to you. And that's Zenith Bank, for example, reported a profit of 1 trillion naira. That's as at half of the year, right? H1. And that 1 trillion naira is from me and you people using the Zenith. It's not bad that they make profit, but at the expense of people who actually have money custodied in these banks, right? Some of it should basically come back to the people who have funds in the banks, but then it doesn't. Now, going forward, when in 2009, basically a white paper was released after the financial meltdown in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto that's the Bitcoin white paper. And what happened was that a new paradigm, a new design basically for money or new design for finance was created. And Bitcoin actually is the foundation of decentralized finance. What it means is that you don't need somebody to custody your money for you. You can hold it by yourself. And on that principle, future innovations or future developments were done, right? And now the word DeFi now came. So to explain what DeFi, which is decentralized finance, is basically the same traditional financial system, but now it's powered by computers, it's powered by mathematics, and cryptography without the influence of the government, basically. It's the people that control this financial system. A lot of people might ask, well, how does that concern me? You might not see the value like by just hearing this or by hearing the definition, but with some examples, you would see how it concerns you. So one way it concerns you is with the DeFi infrastructure, for example. Anybody anywhere in the world can participate, in the global financial system. Let me explain. I don't know, you guys heard this, someone from Main One talk about the city of Virginia, right? Virginia is in the United States, and how the GDP of Virginia is about $750 billion. And that's bigger than Nigeria and South Africa's GDP combined. There's poverty a lot in Nigeria and in Africa. And the reason that poverty exists is because, we are basically managed by a government that isn't forward thinking. Sorry to digress a bit. I heard a lot about, AI, chip making. These are fantastic. Satellite, space technology, beautiful. But you can't do those basic things if you don't have light. Here, this place is powered by a generator, right? The sound is deafening. You can't do any of those things if you don't have power. If you don't have education, people don't have schools, they don't go to school. We have over, 18 million out of school children. I'm going somewhere with this. Those children in all these places cannot go to America or go to Europe where there are free schools. I was in Finland a few weeks ago. In Finland, and also other parts of Europe, school is basically free. It's free, really. Till university level, it's free. And what that allows people to do is that they don't bother with school fees. They just focus on education and building. And then when they are done, they can now do other things. In fact, they even beg people to go to school because it's free. But you here cannot go to Finland. The problem, you cannot access that education. You cannot access the education in the United States, in London. Yeah, you can say online learning. But online learning, really, I personally hate remote work. I prefer to sit down and work with people. It's better. Online learning cannot change or cannot replace physical interaction. Now, what DeFi has done is that for finance, same way, if you're in the United States, you're in Europe, you cannot access their traditional financial system. Some people want to pay school fees. You hear them go and get things like it's called, is it Form 7 or Form whatever? And you see that it's limited. You even need to know people to be able to help you, do the transfer and pay a school abroad. But with DeFi, the entire global financial system has been brought to you and it's on your mobile phone. For example, I can be in Nigeria and invest in the international money market with USDT, right? With a stable currency that is pegged to the US dollar. It gives access. And I think that's the most important thing, really. I won't bore you with the technology because it basically doesn't make any sense for me to bore you with how decentralization works. But one critical thing that you need to know is the value that comes with that decentralization and its access. Now, I can stay from Nigeria and invest in the United States or invest in money markets and earn yield in US dollars. As an organization at Zen Finance, we stopped, and our group of companies basically, we stopped paying our staff in Naira about 4 years ago or 5 years ago. All our staff earn in dollars, right? And how we're able to achieve that is because we don't we don't give people, when we do business, we make money, yes, in foreign currencies are in Naira. But because of DeFi, that's decentralized finance, we've been able to access the US dollar easily. And then we pay them, in stable currencies. If decentralized finance wasn't there, we cannot go to the bank or maybe go to an aboki to buy dollar. It would be too difficult to access at a very good rate to pay your staff, right? Also, what DeFi has also helped us as an organization to achieve is when we make money, we don't, because of the inflation in the country, we don't necessarily just leave a lot in Naira. We invest or deposit our funds in DeFi protocols that earn yield. Yield is the NU interest, and the NU those interest in dollars, right? And it's determined by the market. One also, like a very big advantage of DeFi is anytime you need your money, you access it. There's no one person that maybe is using your money and will not return it. If you need your money, you access it. Maybe for financial people in the room, I would have to mention this, right? Every asset, let's say you can actually borrow money from a DeFi protocol. And for every asset you borrow, it's actually over-collateralized. You know, let's say in banks, when you want to take loans from banks, what you do is you go to the bank, they ask you for banking papers or something, right? Maybe for landed property. Now, what you do with the loan, with the landed property is that you hand it over to the bank, and the bank gives you money. And when you make the money, when you do your business, you return funds back to the bank and then take your landed property. If you do not get the money, the banks would liquidate your landed property, or they will sell it and then use it to cover the cost. But most of the time, taking loan, for example, I think in Nigeria now, taking a loan from the bank is at 20-something%. At times, you can even get to 30%. But in DeFi protocols, it's not like that. But then if you're going to drop a collateral, you're going to drop a collateral that is higher than the amount of money you're going to borrow. I know some people will be like, no, so what's the point? If I have the money, why will I borrow? I'll now explain that part. In crypto, for example, how many of you know about Bitcoin? Sorry. Good. If you have Bitcoins now, will you want to sell it? If you want to sell your Bitcoin now, raise your hand, please. Good. Nobody wants to sell their Bitcoins, right? And why? Because it's very valuable. So imagine you had 10 Bitcoins, right? You won't want to sell it. But let's say you wanted to do something that is urgent. Maybe you want to do a business or something that is important. You don't want to sell your Bitcoin, because when you sell it, by the time you want to buy it back, the price might have gone up, right? So what people do is they will deposit their Bitcoin in a DeFi protocol as collateral and take loan in US dollars. So they won't sell the Bitcoin. And interest rates maybe might be around 2%, 4%, 5%. It's not much. Then when they are done, they return the US dollars and take their Bitcoin back. So what has happened there is, and they'll return it with interest, of course. What has happened there is actually the same thing happening in the traditional bank, but now in a programmed system that does not fail. And this system is open, you can read the code, you can verify, everything is audited. So this is how DeFi is really changing the narrative. Also in terms of insurance, I know a lot of you might have heard of insurance companies, you know, like maybe even AXA Mansard, a lot of insurance companies exist. People see these companies and they are massive financial, you know, organizations. Insurance companies make a lot of money, they also lose money. But guess what? There is also decentralized insurance. And that insurance, for example, insurance companies are managed by just shareholders or a group of people who have deposited a large amount of money. And then when they earn premiums, they make a lot of profit. Most people that might make claims might be so small. Usually insurance companies make a lot of money. I'm aware, right? But in DeFi, there is insurance, but then the insurance is now managed by me and you. We can pool our money, and even people in the US, anywhere in the world. So people can deposit funds into an insurance company, a DeFi insurance company, and earn interest when people who are using the insurance are paying their premium. So it creates alternative revenue sources or sources of income for different people, right? So for us, really, in the crypto or in the blockchain space, decentralized finance is revolutionary, right? It's something that has changed the narrative. And to now show you how big it has become, there's a company called BlackRock. How many of you have heard of BlackRock? Good. BlackRock has the highest, is the biggest or the largest asset manager in the world. They manage assets worth $10 trillion. Let me explain. Let me give you an idea of how big that is, right? Nigeria, okay, our GDP is $250 billion, right? Now, you need to multiply our GDP by 4 to get, if you multiply GDP by 4, you get what? 1 trillion, right? Dollars. So that is $1 trillion. Then you now multiply it by 10 to get $10 trillion. So if you do 10 times 4, it's 40 times. So the company, one company controls 40 times the value of Nigeria, right? That's the amount of assets that they control. That company got into DeFi earlier this year, and they pushed for Bitcoin ETFs, and now I think as at last week, I saw that they control over 13,000 Bitcoins. Maybe you want to do the math on your calculator, right? That's in billions of dollars. They control billions of dollars worth of Bitcoins. And the traditional financial people have started shifting gradually. Even in Nigeria, the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, have started giving licenses to companies to be able to custody cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all that. And all this is as a result of what? Decentralized finance. Now, I know a few people might ask, so, well, how does this even make sense to me? How do I make money from it? Because a lot of people want to make money, right? My job is not to tell you how to make money, but my job is to explain the value and also give you, well, some insights. One is in building, and that's why we're even doing a hackathon, right? We're funding a hackathon of, developers building on our blockchain that, of course, enables DeFi. You have prizes of, that's in grants, $1,000, $750, $500, $100 for the rest. But that's not the interesting part. There's even a more interesting part of where we are also going to be investing up to $1 million depending on the value or the outcome or the results each company comes up with. We did something like this in 2022, right? And the leading company of our hackathon then won $30,000 and eventually went to get investments of over $800,000. A couple of LaserPay, a few people might know Ugochukwu Emmanuel. A lot of their investments came from our network, right? And a lot of other companies as well have raised funding from our network. So our job really is to be able to raise engineers, because we've seen that in Nigeria and in Africa, it's not just about you as an individual tapping into the system and making a few $100 or $1,000. No. We want people that can build systems that can generate a lot of value. I will give another example. How many of you know something called Uniswap? Okay. There are so many DeFi protocols out there. For example, Uniswap, as at this morning, they had made about $1.5 million today. DeFi projects make a lot of money. And I can tell you one thing Nigerians need is a lot of money. What young people need is a lot of money. It's not really investments, right? In terms of maybe just giving you cash. We need businesses that can make money. That's why I love when Ugochukwu, try to remember his first name, when he was the guy working on the drones, when he spoke about, businesses making money, I was really happy to hear that. Most times we don't understand the need to make, most people just want freebies, give them free money. No, you actually need to make money as a business. We have so many people, I've been to so many events in different parts of the world. There are young people like myself and yourself, even people younger, generating millions of dollars building DeFi or blockchain-based products used by thousands of people from different parts of the world. And we need to be able to, in fact, the knowledge is here. Basically, what we are looking for is, that energy, that interest, the tenacity to build and to push a product to market. That's usually the most difficult part. We've seen people build projects. When they build those projects, they take maybe the prize and then they stop building. But for us, even the prizes we're giving, these prizes would actually be given, the final money will be transferred when your project has gone live, and then we now start to incubate and work with you, because the money is more like, okay, thanks for doing this. The real money comes when you start getting investors and also when you start getting customers, which we as an organization would help you do, right? So these are like the values that DeFi can bring to an ecosystem, and it changes everything, basically, right? I mean, we've been with organizations, with projects, founders from different parts of the world that have basically changed the narrative of their region. One of them is India, Polygon. The co-founder of Polygon is a very close friend of mine and an investor in our organization, right? Sandeep Nailawal. Sandeep founded and his co-founder founded Polygon. Polygon is a blockchain. Matic. How many of you know Matic here? Good. You know, and when they founded it actually a year before we even started Zen Finance, because two of us are backed by Binance. Binance is our mutual investor. And Polygon is like top 50 projects, you know, in the crypto market. They are what I think about maybe $7 or $8 billion. And not just that, they've changed the Indian narrative when it comes to blockchain, finance, and all that, right? And that's the same thing we need to do for Africa. We have people most likely building in silos and all that, but what we're doing here at Zen Finance and Asset Chain is that we're bringing the community together. We are better when we work together. A lot of people talked about collaboration today. We are better when we work together. Knowledge is shared. You know, resources are shared in terms of finance as well. I know that in the last couple of years, we've invested a lot of money in startups. Maybe as at today, maybe now. We actually just wrote a check to Convexity. I don't know how many CNG. How many of you have heard of CNGN, the new Nigerian stable coin that is going to be launched? Right? They received approval from well, it's very new, so many people might not have heard of it. So they received approval from SEC. We wrote them a check, you know, in like a lot of money actually, right? So we've invested quite a lot of money in startups here. And why we're doing it is because we need to grow our ecosystem, really, right? We need to grow our ecosystem, and we cannot do it alone. We need young minds, energetic people like yourself to be able to come together and build. So I think I would like to stop here and, you know, thank you all for, listening to my short presentation. And I hope it's quite impactful, you know, and yeah, we hope to, you know, make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ugo. I think it was better you did this, because I was thinking it was going to be a chat, but I think this was much better. Thank you. Please let's put our hands together again for Ugochukwu. And well done for all you do. We really appreciate it.